You know what's really crazy about everything that's going on? I want to clarify something too, because we talked about this a bit yesterday. Spotify apparently never censored Joe Rogan and Alex Jones.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Apparently what happened was, my understanding is it wasn't popping up on people's feeds properly, and they tried re-uploading it, and then it just made it disappear on everyone's feed. But it was there, just labeled wrong or something. People don't realize this, because it happens to me sometimes. I'll like look at my podcast numbers and they'll be low, and I'll go no, and I'll look, and there'll be like one number in like seasons or episode that moves it incorrectly on a list, and then people can't find it.
We would have it mines, man, a lot more than you'd realize. Like people would upload stuff, it would just go dark, and we'd be like, oh, it's something in the code. Like there's so much complexity. And people
however,
they're censoring me, and it's 99% of the time. It's
I gotta say, how does it keep happening to Joe?
I know
that like
weird,
all the episodes that didn't make it over just happened to be Gavin McInnes, and then the one episode.
Right.
And Joe actually said he's like, of all the episodes, it was this one. But anyway, I bring this up for one to clarify. It's up. It was on Spotify. It's still up on Spotify. But seeing all these lefties tweet things about Alex Jones, and it's the funniest thing. These people are as dumb as a box of rocks, and that's an insult to a box of rocks.
Rude.
They're saying things like, "How dare Spotify allow Alex Jones to harass this family?" It's like Joe didn't host Alex Jones so that Alex Jones could harass a family.
You don't know
that,
that, Tim.
didn't even bring it up.
what family are you talking about?
The Sandy Hook family.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's right.
That's like
because
7-year-old
Alex,
Alex-
false flag. Guy.
Alex Jones did not go on Joe Rogan's show and start screaming about this family.
He's been very repentant about it, actually.
Yeah, and it happened, what, in 2012, 2013?
So yeah.
The point is, you look at what they did to Nick Sandman. He smirked. And you look at what they do to Alex Jones. How dare you allow him to harass his family? It's like, dude, that was years ago. He's been sued over it. He's apologized for it. And he's saying other things. Yeah. It's like these people are so disingenuous. They expect me to hold a grudge for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? See Alex Jones on the street and be like, how dare you harass a family? And he's going to be like, I'm buying milk. I'm just walking home.
Yeah, there's no path to redemption, right? They just want to take a snapshot of a person in their worst moment and have that represent them for the rest of their lives. But only if it's somebody with whom they disagree, of course.
Exactly.
I don't even think it's about that, to be honest.
Why not?
I think it's just tribalism.
No, exactly. It's someone they disagree with.
I think you've got a lot of people who just want to be angry. You know that comic where it's like, I'm angry, and the guy's like, here's a solution.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want a
Yes.
solution.
Oh
He
my
burns it.
gosh.
I want to be angry.
Classic.
That's what it is.
Is it just something social media has done to our brains? I mean, this is
No.
this is part of human nature for us to want to be angry and to want to find enemies for whatever reason because we are fallen. But I do think it's been exacerbated by our social media trends. Like the fact that, I think we talked about this before, on Twitter, it's like when you have a bad day on Twitter, it's because somebody roasted you, and when it's a good day on Twitter, it's because you roasted somebody else.
Yeah.
Like you're always, you're being mean to someone or someone's being mean to you. That's like 95% of what Twitter is.
I disagree.
Really?
I think it.
Well, you're being mean to me. And
this falls into a very simple philosophy. When you wake up in the morning, do you say to yourself, life is good, or do you say life is awful?
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, time to get to
Life's
work.
awesome,
Crack
man.
pour myself a coffee, sit down and say, I wonder what's happening in the world today. Actually, when I wake up, I pull my phone up and I'm like, they did what last night in Philadelphia?
Where's the coffee?
I'm like, my eyes are like squinting at the screen. It's too bright. And I'm like, they burned down what again? And then a few minutes later, I'm like, oh, I get up and, and then I go to work.
When Tim wakes up, he just screams and punches the wall so hard it wakes everyone in the house.
It's true. It does. Every morning. Yeah.
It's just ritual.
Anyway, the point is, I go on Twitter. I don't look at notifications.
No,
I don't respond. Yeah. I sometimes respond to people only if I end up seeing it for some reason. Mm-hmm. I ignore notifications. I ignore @s.
It's a good strategy.
I just ignore everybody. There are some times where, I'll notice something for some reason, but it's rare. And then Twitter is just great. It's like being on a roller coaster that only goes down.
It's true.
You're like, wee! The whole time, just forever.
It's like, have you ever just lost an hour on Twitter and been you know what? I gained a lot from that. Like my life is better.
I'm reading Twitter all day.
Are you really?
Well,
I guess you can help with your job, like finding stories. I understand that. Like every once in a while, if I don't have an idea for a video, I'll look at what's trending.
Yeah.
But
I have a list of people I follow from left and right journalists and news organizations, and I've got some great journalists that I follow that I see what they're talking about and follow, and then I check a bunch of different news outlets. Periodically, there's stories I stumble upon pertaining to like censorship and tech and the internet and things like that.
Well, I guess I'm just projecting. You use Twitter more responsibly than I do, Tim.
I just use it. I deleted Twitter once.
Into it. when did you delete Twitter?
Like maybe a year and a half ago.
I deleted the app, but
I deleted it on my phone. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, now what?
I'll read comments for my name, and I do it like a social experiment because I studied acting since I was like 15. And I would like sit at lunch at college and just watch people walk around and interact and just study people all day, study people. So I'll study the comments and when they talk about me or I see my name as like a representative of a idea, I depersonalize, and I just see these like waves of the way people behave, and I laugh and it's just so interesting.
That can drive you crazy though, man. You can't
I'm already crazy.
That's great, yeah.
I don't know if it's good for your mental condition.
Anyway, look, the point of Twitter is it's a rage machine.
Yes.
The average person doesn't have the mental fortitude to withstand that kind
Especially
of manipulation.
Child, man.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
we let people use Twitter pretty young. And then there are people, it's funny because there are folks who aren't even public figures, but they'll tweet something that goes viral and then it's super controversial and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon of criticizing them. It's like, I was reading a story about a woman who tweeted something, I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty tasteless. And she's just like a regular person.
Was it the lady in
South
Africa or whatever?
I'm not sure. I know that she hopped on an airplane, and by
Yeah,
the time
yeah.
the airplane landed, her life was ruined.
No,
and
wait.
she had no
Hold
idea what
on.
happened in
She
between.
tweeted a woke joke.
That's right.
The joke was that it was about white privilege.
Yeah.
She was joking that she had white privilege, therefore she wouldn't get AIDS. The way she phrased it was like, I read it and I was like, I very much understand that she is trying to make a woke joke.
She's like making fun of white people. Like, oh, no, white people have it so great.
Right.
Basically.
And they were like, they didn't care.
Yeah.
They're like, how dare you? And then she landed from her flight and her phone's going. Brr, 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 brr. She said she got like a text message and they're like, are you okay? Call me if you need anything. And she's like, what's happening? And she was a nobody.
Yeah.
She was not. She's had a couple hundred followers.
There's
It's
also
crazy.
every now and then, you just need to find a stranger to be angry at.
There's a
guess
weird
so.
phenomenon with
Yeah.
when someone gets famous off of a viral tweet that there's a tendency to want to keep doing that tweet
Yes.
over and over again,
Yeah.
and you can drive people into these crazy holes.
Well, yeah, because the last time you did it, you got a massive dopamine
Yep.
rush because you got attention from
And
people.
so like, I'm
And
going to
so
do
you
it
wanna
again.
Do it over and over
And they
and
get
over
stuck
again.
in this idea
And then-
that that's what
and
made me
then-
famous. It's not that. It's
And then they
you.
put a link to their Venmo or their PayPal.
That's smart.
They're like, I
Definitely.
see that you're liking my tweets.
Speaking
Your
of which,
money.
guys, paypal.com/freedomtunes, paypal.me/freedomtunes if you want to help us make more.
So
Could you imagine if like people acted the way that they do on Twitter, but in real life? So they'd say something like, "Yo, Ian, Seamus is dumb. PayPal me at PayPal."
That actually does happen to me. When I go outside, people will say that. Whoever
that's
roasts
awesome.
me the best, they'll get Venmo'd something.
That's awesome.
No, well, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. It's kind of like a road rage-esque phenomenon. When you're driving and when you're on the internet, you're interacting with humans in a way where you're not really going to be held accountable. So we let the worst part of ourselves be exposed in a lot of those interactions. And so it's really sad, but I don't know if it actually causes the problem so much as it reveals what's already underneath. However, once that's been revealed, I think people habituate themselves towards that because they can get away with it more often. So it does make you a nastier person, but it starts by revealing the nastiness that was already there.
And they know
just
it.
builds upon it.
And Jack knows it.
I
And I love
don't know
when-
anything about that.
When he went on, when Jack Dorsey was on the Senate hearing, I guess apparently one of the Republicans asked him to name a single liberal his platform is banned, and he couldn't do it.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
I couldn't. They banned a bunch of Occupy Wall Street people.
Yeah.
Back, this was like 2 years ago. So they've done it for sure. He couldn't. He didn't. He's like,
Didn't they go after anti-media? Did you name?
I'm pretty sure anti-media got
I
banned.
like
yeah,
those
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous, and it's like these are leftist activists, they're anti-war, and why are they? So that the big story with anti-media was Pinterest, that Veritas uncovered that, but on Twitter, I believe they also got the X as well as several Occupy accounts.
I think there really is like a dark, thing in people's minds. Like humans are like got this weird dark fantasy, and I only notice
100%.
it because like, if you sometimes when you play video games, when I play video games or Dungeons and Dragons with someone, they'll choose to be a real evil character.
No,
that
no,
like, I'll
that's not
rip his
true.
stomach out and eat it. And so
Nope.
you're like, what the god?
No,
What?
no, you're wrong. I gotta stop you there because
I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
I have to stop you
Why?
because there's a meme about this where it's someone, I can't remember which open world game it was, but it was like a guy playing a video game and he's like, I've just completed the game as the hero. Now I'm going to play as the villain.
That's how I do it.
And then it shows a guy saying like, this is, he's like, why did you kill my brother? And then the person sitting there crying like, I couldn't do it. So what I'm trying to say is when people go evil, they quick save. That's the joke. Like when you're playing Elder Scrolls, you'll quick save. then go on a
Murder the
murder
town.
spree, and then reload and
Yeah,
be like,
that's
okay,
how I play,
now that I got
yeah.
it out of my system, and I'm,
Good, yeah.
Well, we're really nice to NPCs playing video games, but
We
when
are.
we're on the internet with strangers, we're very much
Man,
not.
screw you,
I'm really
dude.
nice to
dude,
that
it's
computer.
true. Like when I try, I can't do evil playthroughs.
Well,
I
that's
can't do
because you're
it.
good, though. I don't
it's-
think you have like a deep psychosis like some of these people.
Like, dude, I'm playing Skyrim. And I'm just like, I'm holding the bow in VR, and I'm like, I can't shoot the lady.
Speaking of VR,
But you
not
know
a
what it
bad
is?
guy.
you got
Well,
the new Oculus.
this
Oh,
is-
shout out.
Yeah, it just came out.
This is just sort of a strange failing of human empathy, which is that when you're playing that video game, even though there's not an actual person there,
Yeah.
it appears as if there is one. When you're on the internet,
And you
there
see like
is an
you
actual
see like
human
an
there.
avatar of
Yeah.
like a weird looking animal creature.
Yeah,
an
like anime
animal
or
guy-
a Twitter
yeah.
egg.
phenomenon-
There is a person there, but it doesn't seem like it. So it actually leads you to be better to computer generated images than you are an actual human.
Well, hold on. Maybe it's because we have this this darkness inside of us, a rage towards anime characters.
I think
yeah,
that's part
that
of it.
makes
So it's like-
90%
They
of
look
it is just-
so not. They look
It's
so ugly.
obvious
You
that
see-
anime is a scourge.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.